For more than a decade, Lana Del Rey has existed in a strange paradox. She's one of the most critically admired, culturally transformative, era-defining artists of 21st century, and yet when it comes to the institutions meant to recognize musical excellence, she remains chronically underrated, and nowhere is this contradiction more visible than with the Grammy Awards. The Grammys have a long history of rewarding safe choices, leaning into industry comfort zones, and overlooking artists whose brilliance doesn't fit neatly into mainstream expectations. But the case of Lana Del Rey feels uniquely striking. It's not just that she has been snubbed, it's that she has been consistently misunderstood and dismissed at crucial moments in her early career, and only praised years later for the very same qualities she was once mocked for. One of the most damaging moments in Lana's career early, unfairly so, was her 2012 Blue Jeans performance on Saturday Night Live. Her vocal delivery, intentionally dreamy and unstable, didn't match the typical upbeat, polished SNL formula, but also it wasn't that great either. But instead of recognizing artistic intention, critics and viewers piled on. A particularly loud voice was Brian Williams, the news anchor who dismissed her so harshly that his commentary became part of the larger cultural backlash. He famously said he never took her seriously after watching her SNL performance, a sentiment mirrored by many in the media at the same time. That reaction revealed for more about the industry's bias than it did about Lana's talent. She was a woman performing with vulnerability, melancholy, slowness, and theatrical in a landscape that rewarded loudness and certainty. She was not just bad, she was different, and people punished her for it. Years later, the same atmospheric stillness, smoky vocals, and cinematic aesthetics that critics once mocked would be hailed as genius. Other artists would adopt her sound, her visuals, her slow burn approach to storytelling, but back then Lana carried the weight of being ahead of her time.
I'm a little nervous for SNL. I've done live television in Europe, but never in America, no TV here yet. So, you just hope it goes well and you don't up. But I'm just, I love the 2 songs I'm gonna do on it, so, and my band is really good and they're gonna be with me, so I'm sure it'll be good.
Throughout the 2010s, Lana Del Rey reshaped the entire soundscape of pop culture. Her melancholic, vintage-inspired world building, what some describe as sadcore, but it's really more like California noir poetry, became a blueprint for a new generation. Artists including Billie Eilish, Lorde, Halsey, FAK Twigs, Olivia Rodrigo, The Weeknd, and even certain tracks from Taylor Swift. Production trends shifted because of her, lyrics shifted because of her, aesthetic culture from fashion to Tumblr art to contemporary film editing shifted because of her, and yet despite her enormous cultural shadow, the Grammys consistently sidelined her. In 2019, Lana Del Rey released Norman Effing Rockwell, an album many critics call one of the best of the decade. Jack Antonoff's co-production created a lush, timeless palette, piano-led soft rock inflected and emotionally sharp. The album was bold but tender, satirical but vulnerable. It was the culmination of everything she had been trying to express since Born to Die, and it delivered with surgical precision. Critics went wild. Publication listed it as Album of the Year, a modern American masterpiece, a generational classic. It was nominated for Album of the Year at the Grammys, finally, and Lana was in the big category, but then they gave it to Billie Eilish. Billie herself, who has repeatedly stated that Lana has her biggest inspiration, stood on stage seemingly shocked. Lana had written the blueprint. Someone else, hugely talented but clearly walking in her footsteps, received the industry's recognition. And it wasn't just a snub, it was a symbolic moment. It felt like the Grammys were willing to reward artists influenced by Lana, but not Lana herself, as if acknowledging her direct artistic contribution was still too difficult or controversial for them. Fast forward to 2023, Lana releases Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard, a sprawling, existential, deeply poetic album that explores family, legacy, mortality, spirituality, and the creation of art itself. It's intimate and raw, yet sonically bold, with gospel, orchestral flourishes, jazz influences, and some of the most imaginative songwriting of her career. Once again, critical praise poured in. Once again, she was nominated for multiple Grammys, and once again, she walked away empty-handed. This isn't accidental, it's a pattern. The Grammy use her presence to show they recognize artistry, but they rarely reward her for that artistry. Why does this keep happening? Well, first of all, she doesn't play the industry game. Lana has never been a traditional celebrity. She doesn't chase virality. She doesn't campaign aggressively. She doesn't repackage albums repeatedly. She rarely does promo cycles. The Grammys often reward artists who maintain high visibility and industry relationships. And Lana is quiet, private, and artistic, not easy to categorize. Also, she was misjudged early and the stigma stuck. The SNL performance unfairly created a narrative of inauthenticity around her. Even as she proved herself repeatedly, award institutions tend to cling to outdated reputation. Her art is subtle, emotional, and nuanced. Her music is not built on big singles, huge choruses, or formulaic radio hits. It is built on storytelling, imagery, and emotional atmosphere. The Grammys historically struggle with subtlety, they reward spectacle. And she was a woman refusing to fit the acceptable female pop mold. When Lana debuted, the industry expected women to be upbeat, empowering, relatable, and polished. And Lana was none of those things. She gave America a mirror of its darker dreams, its decaying glamour, its tragedies. The Grammys didn't know what to do with that. The truth is simple. Lana Del Rey is the most influential female artist of the 2010s. Her fingerprints are everywhere, the moody, atmospheric production style dominating pop. The confessional, poetic lyricism now embraced by younger artists. The cinematic, retro-Americana aesthetics that became a decade-defining visual language. The rise of alternative pop into mainstream. Her work shaped music, culture, fashion, mood boards, film, photography, and online aesthetics for an entire generation. The Lana effect is so widespread that many people don't even realize they're influenced by her. It has become normal. Awards don't define legacy. Influence does, impact does, and longevity does. And Lana's legacy is already cemented. She's changed the sound of an entire decade. She inspired the biggest artists of the next generation. She wrote albums that will be studied long after Grammy wins are forgotten. She continuously evolves, pushing boundaries without compromising her authenticity. When the Grammys look back in 20 years, they will realize they missed the moment. They will look at the Norman effing Rockwell and Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard and understand that those were masterpieces of their time. But Lana fans and their entire musical landscape already know Lana Del Rey did not need the Grammys to validate her relevance. The Grammys needed Lana Del Rey to validate themselves, and they failed to rise to that moment. In the story of modern music, Lana Del Rey is not a footnote, she's a chapter, a genre, and a movement, and a blueprint. The Grammys may have been disrespectful, but history will not be.